Administrator, and I'm the administrator for the Arizona Memory Project. Also sitting in with me is Brandy Hellowa, and she assists with the Arizona Memory Project, and she'll be keeping an eye on chat for questions. So if you do have a question, please throw it in chat, and Brandy will be watching that, and we'll monitor that. Hopefully we'll have some time for questions at the end, and yeah, we'll just get started. So first, welcome. This is the first of a new series that we're trying out called Amplify Your Research. It's basically going to be a series about once a month, and each one is going to be a different topic, basically how to use AMP to help with your research. So this one is finding and using photographs in the Arizona Memory Project. Just in case anyone is not familiar with the Arizona Memory Project, or AMP as we call it for short, it's a free, publicly accessible online platform to help people conduct various amount of research and discover any information related to the history, government, and statecraft of Arizona. So you don't need, there's no paywalls or anything. It's free as long as you have internet access. You can get online. And one thing I do want to mention, and I'll get started here, you do not have to. It's an option, but you can create a member account, and that will give you access to a few extra tools that can help you in your research. And I'll show you how to use that as we look through photos. So if you already have one, maybe some people here already have one, you can click the login over here. If you don't, by default, it's going to say guest. Click on that. If you need to register, just throw in a name, any email address that you want to use, and I'm going to log in as me, so you can see some of the features. Okay. So feel free to follow along if you're at a computer as well, but I'm going to be going through each of these, a handful of features, functions, and some tips and tricks to help you. So you can follow along with me, or just feel free to watch. So one thing to note is that photographs in the Arizona Memory Project, they're formatted as an image. So if you go over here to the Browse All, you'll see this is everything in the site, and it just sort of defaults to alphabetical listing. So that's why the stuff with the quotation marks come first. But if you go over here, click to format, scroll down to image, you also get a quantity of how many are there. If you just click on image, then you're going to get only images. And just note that we're mostly talking about photographs, but images could also include things like slides, postcards, posters, flyers, any sort of image format can be, but it also includes photographs as well. So just know that if you're looking at images, we didn't separate them out by just photographs, but everything's kind of been bundled into image. Most, I think, are photographs, but just one thing to keep in mind. So that's how you would browse. If you're not interested in looking for something in particular, you can just click browse. You'll see there's more than 417 pages. You're welcome to jump to, any one of these pages that you'd like. So you can jump to page, 345 if you'd like. And then again, it's all alphabetical, so you just keep scrolling. So that's what you do if you're just kind of poking around, not doing anything in particular, if you just want to look around. But if you, one other thing that you can do while you're browsing, click on this little caret icon here, this little right arrow. If you click on that, that's going to give you drop downs for other points of data that you might be interested in. So for example, maybe you're interested in who the photographer is, maybe you got somebody in mind. And again, this is going to show up alphabetically. So for example, if you wanted, if you knew you were looking for the photos from the A.O. Boris Company, you could click on that. And then you're only going to get the 6. So this is a really good way to sort of filter down those 417 pages down to just 6. It depends on whether we have information for those particular fields. You can check it on and off if you want to. That'll send you back to what you had before. Again, and we have other things. If you wanted to make it go away, you have other things like here. We also have location-based information. So if you wanted to find things of the Adams Hotel, you can click on that, and then you'll only get those options. I've got other stuff turned on. That's why it's still showing. So let me go back and kick out of there. So anyway, but that's the idea there. You can just keep drilling down until you get something, as specific as you'd like. So that's how you would browse. Searching. So I'm going to use Hoover Dam as an example because I know there's good examples. This is just your basic search. Come over here to search, click on that, click Hoover Dam. We'll go into these in a minute. But if you're just doing a basic search, keeping it pretty broad, you'll see that you get 9,047. Again, this is searching everything. So if you want to make sure that you're only getting images, come down to here, you'll go from 9,047 to 106. So that whittles it down a lot, and you're not getting any other results except for images. So from here, you're able to, again, this option is still available. There'll probably be fewer because I did a search for Hoover Dam. It's not searching every photograph in the site, just ones that are matches for Hoover Dam. So here's your results, and I'll get into these other things once we do an advanced search. So there's some, you'll see what all these things do. So there's your basic search. Just run any keywords, click the search results, and you see what you get. So if you want to start over, you can hit reset. There it goes. Okay. So now we're going to try it again. Start over. Hoover Dam. Okay. So format. By default, it's going to search everything. That's why I had to pick the format after we got the search results. If you want to only get images in the first place, check all, uncheck all. So that will toggle on and off. So you would uncheck everything, scroll down to image. Side note, you can also bundle these with any combination you'd like. So if you want images and newspapers and something else, you can click any combination of these that you like. But for now, we'll just do image. Within data, so this is the metadata fields. Title only means it's only going to search where Hoover Dam shows up in the title of the photograph. All fields means it's going to search for Hoover Dam in every metadata field. For images, there's about 30 of them. So if it shows up anywhere in any of those fields, sometimes it may not show up in the title. So you want to search every field. So it's going to look for Hoover Dam anywhere. And all fields plus content. The plus content usually means OCR, or optical character recognition. So that's what allows you to search text and make it findable. The system will run OCR on images if it notices that there's texts, because sometimes photos will have a sign in it. Certainly postcards and flyers have a lot of text, but sometimes photographs will have it too. So if there's, it's unlikely you're going to find a photo where Hoover Dam isn't in the metadata, but it is written on the photograph someplace. But just so you know, that's what it does. So we're just going to try title only for now. Date. Okay, so this is if you know you have a specific date range that you're looking for. Say you don't want anything after 1950. You do have to enter full date formats here, and it gives you the format right here. So I'm just going to go January 1, 1929. I know the dam wasn't built yet, but just for sake of convenience, to December 31st, 1945. So that's going to limit your results to only those dates. So the metadata we have includes the known dates. So that's what this is checking. Some don't have dates. I think by default it's going to exclude those. So if there's some photographs you're like, I'm not sure that, I want to make sure that I get photographs that may not have dates, you would leave this alone. But you could enter date here and then search for. So all keywords by default, it's going to look for items that have Hoover and Dam together, or at least in the metadata someplace. So it's going to look for both of those words. Any keywords functions more like a Hoover or Dam. So you may get options or results that just have Hoover or just have Dam. It's going to search for any of those things. The all keywords is better if you want to find both. And then exact phrase if you want to find exactly Hoover Dam. So if it finds like Boulder Dam or something else, it's going to exclude it because you told it I only want Hoover Dam exactly. So we'll just keep that one on just to limit the search results. So again, you can stack any of these as you want. You can use, just two, you can use all four, just one, any combination that you'd like. So we've got image, just the title, just this date range, exactly Hoover Dam, run your results. Okay, so now we only have 26. So we went from 9,000 with a basic search to about 100 or so with a slightly advanced search to 26 with a highly advanced search. So from here, there are other things you can do. You can refine your search terms, like if you wanted, is water going to show up any place? Oops. Let's see. Got, my keyboard's not working. Here we go. There we go. Okay, and water. Maybe it's somewhere else in the metadata. You can update your search. Okay, it's not there. Clear it. So that's just something you can do to kind of, mess around a little bit. You can change the displays if you prefer to have it this way. By default, it's going to grid, but you can also do more of a tile. You can change the order. It tries to find the most relevant. You can also tell it, I want the ones that have been added most recently, added, I guess, the oldest. And then you can toggle alphabetical A to Z, Z to A. If you want, you can individually check any of these items. That's going to give you, what that's going to do is you're telling the system that if you pick any of these options, this is what you want to do with it. So for example, you can check everything that's on here. I believe this will also capture everything on the second page. So it's not just the page you're looking at, but we'll just do 2 for now. You can choose to download. You can choose to download just the metadata or the actual digital items. Not every item is available for download. It depends on the contributing institution and the settings that they had asked us to put on. So some of them you're only going to be able to get the metadata. If you do want to do that, you'll be able to tell the difference. If only the metadata is available, you're just going to see this, just download metadata record. If you're able to download the actual image, a copy of the file, then you'll get this. You'll get to download the webmaster, and then you'll see that there's the file name, and you can click on that, and then that'll download. So that's what the download does. Contact us. If you click on that, that's going to give us links to the items that you checked, and it's going to send an email off to us and says, hey, I've got a question about this. Or even if you see something that's wrong, it's like, hey, this thing says it's Hoover Dam, but it's actually a different dam, something like that, right? This will let us, you'll be able to contact us like this. I'll get into my collections when we look at a specific image, and I'll show you some of the tools that you can use there. And then sharing out, you can use to, you can share to social or send by an email, and then compare. This will let you compare the metadata for both things. So if you want to see, the differences between, the dates or, any of the other information, you can do that here. And then you can adjust the size as well if you'd like to, depending on your preference. I think you can do between 2 and 5. So at least 2, at most 5, and this will be more helpful, depending on the number that you've got. And I want to make sure, yep, okay, that opens a new tab. Okay, so let's just click on one to use as an example. Okay, so let me get my notes going here. Okay, so that's how you would browse, search, do an advanced search. Okay, so you found a photo you want. How do you use it? What can you do with it? Just for navigability, you can move this around. You can scroll, zoom. You can manually slide it up over here. If it gets, it'll kind of give you a warning when you're kind of, zoomed in. But most of these, I think, are pretty good. You can do things like you can do a full size, fit to screen, fit to width, fit to height, rotate it. Some of these might, this might come in more handy, I think, for like if there's a collage of photographs and kind of like the way that they're arranged, some might be upside down or, kind of, a little slanted. But yeah, you can rotate it if you want. If there's any text, it'll show up on the side over here. I don't think there's no text on this one, but that's one thing that you can do. Keywords and keyword hits. This is more for like documents. If there happened to be text that the system read and made readable, then that would show up here. Here's a download button again. The contributing institution had asked us to disable download on this, but you could still download the metadata either as a PDF or an XML, and then you can use the XML to get it into a spreadsheet if you'd like. You can email us about it. This will automatically send us a link to the item. Just send it off. And for citations, you can use this built-in citation builder. So basically, it's got the name of the item, the name of the site, when you accessed it, and the URL. So if you're going to use it in any kind of publication, or if you just want to reference this yourself for your own notes, you can do that. As far as rights, I mentioned some partners have asked us to disable downloading. If you want to know whether or not you need to do anything to use the photo for whatever research project you're doing, check over here at the rights statement. Usually it'll tell you what you need to do. So in this case, it's please contact the Arizona Historical Society. There's a link to their website. You can go there. If you get stumped, we know that some of the rights statements can be a little ambiguous or not entirely clear about what exactly you're supposed to do. Then come over here, use the contact us and say, hey, the rights statement, isn't very helpful. What do we do? What do we need to do? And most of the time we can get you in touch with an actual person who can help you with it. So one thing to keep in mind, some partners have stuff downloaded, they've enabled downloading, but the images may be under copyright. So it's on the user to sort of make sure that however they're using the photograph, that they've sort of cleared whatever copyright or permissions they might need. So just because the photo has downloading enabled, that you can download it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're sort of free and clear to use it. So always check that right statement, make sure that you're kind of going through the process of making sure that if there's any permissions or anything that you need to do to use the photo in whatever research project you're doing. If it's just for personal use, then that's, the bar is far lower. But if you're publishing in a book or something like that, then you always want to make sure you're over here in the right statement, and then making sure that you're using the citation builder for, any kind of citation you're using this for. And finally, over here, we're going to do add to my collection. So I'm going to add this real quick. Once you're logged in, you do need to be logged in to do this, and you'll know you're logged in because it'll have your username that you entered, that you first registered with. Click on that little star, it'll say successfully added. Then once you're logged in, this is going to open up for you to a my collection. This is all my stuff. So by default, whatever you added last is going to show up over here. If you want, you can start a new collection, and you can call it something like Hoover Dam Research. Great, there. Okay, it's going to show up over here. It's empty, but you can tell it, click on it, check it. This is the, if you've got more than one collection, you can have a drop down over here. We want this one. Add checked items to collection. There it is. Okay, so, and you can add as many things as you like. So if you've got, this is a great way of sort of keeping track of anything you found. So if you're doing, if you're doing research over multiple days or weeks or months, multiple sessions, this way you don't have to keep 1,000 bookmarks going. You can just, log in, keep everything here. And then whenever you're logged in, it'll remember whatever it is you need. I've got, plenty of my stuff over here, things that I, go to a lot. So yeah, we've got, so that's one thing that you're able to do. It's a good way to check. And if you're done, you can delete just the item, the bookmark itself, or if you want to delete the entire collection because you're done, you can do that too. And I'm going to do it because I don't personally need this. So then it's gone. And yeah, you're back to where you were before you bookmarked anything. Okay, so I'm going to go over some tips and tricks. Sort of sideways ways of finding photographs if you're kind of browsing around or you're curious about other things. First of all, check the original format. Anything that has this kind of gold orange hyperlink, that's going to, if you click on it, it will take you to every other item that matches the same values for those fields. So original format is the fields, lantern slide is the format. So click on this. And it's going to take you to all of the lantern slides across the entire site. So this is a bit overwhelming. Again, you've always got your tools over here. I should mention starts with, if you happen to know, what something might start with, you can click on that. And then, every item that starts with E in the title shows up. Mileage may vary depending on what kind of thing you're looking at. Does it have OCR? So yeah, 601 of these happen to. You can click on that. And again, put in your dates by form, your format is already going to be images because lantern slides are all formatted that way. But in case there's a format that might be, one or more formats, original format field, more than one format may show up over here. So there's a way of these. So probably, date would probably be the most useful one, in this particular example. So that's one way that you can find other original formats, say things like color photographs, black and white photographs, glass plate negatives. So check over here to see if you want to see anything else that's related to that. Same with this type still image. That's going to give you a lot more results because it's less specific. It's a lot more broad than this. But again, you can also come over here, and if you're like, oh, cool, here's the JW Hoover Lanterns Light collection, this links to the collection it came from and other things. So do check these links for other related things because those links will take you straight to that. Okay, you can also do there's actually, oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do this. Now, let me do one thing. We also have other pages for places. So in this example, I'm going to use Hoover Dam, formatted as a place. So this is where we, Hoover Dam is just one example. This is where we put everything that's related to either a place. Other ones include person, event, and agency. So we've got one for Winnie Ruth Judd, for example. We've got one for, I think, Sandra Day O'Connor. So these are, and you can see over here, it's formatted as place. But one thing you can do is over here, you've got images, and they'll also show up over here. If you want to see more, click on that. But if you want just, so say you land on a place page and you're like, oh, I want to see all the images in this example. And you can also see all the other item types are over here. But in this example, we're going to focus on image. So there's all the ones that are focused on Hoover Dam. So, this one has a little bit, this one has a few more search results in the advanced search because we didn't limit it by dates or just title or anything like that or exact phrase. So this is a little more broad, but still pretty, a pretty good batch. 54 is manageable. You're not ending up with 3,800 or 9,000 or anything like that. So just keep in mind that if you ever land on one of these, a page that's formatted as a place, an agency, a person, if there are images associated with the place, image, or place, person, etc., look to the side, and then you can also scroll down here and you'll see those things. Another trick to keep in mind is that not all images you may be looking for are formatted as an image. Sometimes images are going to be embedded inside of a document or a periodical, and I'll show you one example of that. Hey, all right. Let me do it this way then. Let's go with this. Perfect. So this is a document. That's not what I wanted. This is a document, but it's got images of Hoover Dam inside of it. So this is not formatted as an image, it's formatted as a periodical. So it's images that are embedded inside an item that's formatted differently. So same thing would apply for, say, something an item or an ad or something that's in a newspaper, any other kind of document. So just keep in mind that there may be photos that you want or be interested in, but you're not going to find it by using any of the search tools or the searching. Even if you do an advanced search, you're not going to find it that way. So sometimes you may want to purposely not choose only image, because again, this is what the OCR is reading. So if you also search for documents, periodicals, newspapers, if you keep it a little bit broader, then you'll be able to make sure that you also find photos that are located inside other formatted types. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And another, one other tip and trick, some collections, if they're big enough, we added a search this collection as a custom search bar. So once you get on a landing page, it's formatted as a collection. You can use this, and it's only going to search items that are tagged to the Arizona State Archives historic photographs. So if you know you're interested in archives photos, you land on this page and you know you want Hoover Dam photos. What has the archives got for the Hoover Dam? Click on that. That's going to get you these 47 results. There are no advanced search results for those custom search boxes, but this will get you most of the way there. It's already limiting it to just the one collection that you're looking at. And again, all your other tools are over here, same as always. So any results page that you end up on, you're always going to get these same options, regardless of how you got here. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Not every collection page has it. We've sort of added them selectively depending on how big they are. The archives photos collection, I think, has 26,000. So we're like, this is going to be very useful to have a way to just search this collection. So we added that one. And that's kind of the last thing that I've got. We can open it up to questions now, I think. And then we can do a couple housekeeping things about, future sessions that are like this. So let me jump in the chat. Okay, Brandy mentioned that, yeah, checking all on the search results only checks the items displayed in the current page. Yeah, so if you do the check all, let me go back to a search results page. Yeah, so if you do this, it's gonna, I guess it'll just check page 1, and then if you go to page 2, then you need to do it again. So anyway, cool. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay. Any questions anyone has? Feel free to pop it in chat. I'll mention that we do have 4 more of these sessions. Again, they're monthly. We've got one for June, July, August, and September. We've got flyers for those. If you've registered through our LibCal, then that link is there. Let's see. Let me see if there's a question. Okay, cool. Got a question. How long does it usually take to approve a photo for the Arizona Memory Project timeline? If you're talking about if you're a contributing institution and you'd like to provide photos to us to put on the Memory Project, turnaround can be as soon as a week. There's an application process where we sort of look at the content. You let us know, hey, here's how many photos we have. Here's the content. Are they already digitized? Things like that. And then we just kind of compared it. We have a collection development policy, so we compare it to that, just make sure that it's relevant to Arizona. Most stuff is. And then that goes through an approval process, and we send some paperwork where you would sign it, we countersign it, just to kind of make sure that we document where everything is coming from. The actual nuts and bolts process of adding a photo, like if I had if I had everything that I needed, I had all the metadata, I had the asset, the actual file, 3 minutes. The actual uploading and getting it in there, super fast. It's usually like kind of like the documentation and the paperwork part that kind of takes a bit. So but yeah, that's yeah. So if you're interested in if you have photos, we do accept photos from community members. You don't have to be a historical society or library or museum or an archives. If you've got some photos, we have a couple on the site that are like that, where they're just kind of family photo collections and they wanted to put it up on the site. We do accept those. So you're not barred from contributing things to us. We usually don't take the physical photos. We're not really sort of set up for that. But the digital files, we can put that on the Memory Project. And if you want to learn more about that, let me jump over here. Actually, I can show you. There's some things that you can poke around with. You can search for this, you can bookmark this, but if you also search for Arizona Memory Project documentation, you can see that here's the application, the collection development policy, the paperwork that we use, letters of acceptance. This is where we're going to put these sessions that are recorded, other things, templates, guidelines. Patch notes are there to tell you like updates to the site, quality of life stuff, things like that. Here's some tutorials on how to better use the site, stuff like that. So this is a handy page. Even if you're not interested in contributing anything, this is still a good handy page to kind of see, kind of what's going on with the site and, how it kind of works a little bit on the back end. So. Okay. Brandy threw in the chat that we'd love to get some feedback. This is our first one that we've ever done in this format. So there's the link there. Go ahead and click that, please. It'll ask you a few questions about, did you like it? Or there are certain topics you'd like to see in the future? Again, this is our first one. We've got the next 4 planned out through September. So these would be, probably 2024 sessions. But if you click on that registration link and you get a if you see a topic that you're interested in and you have a specific question about, like, oh, hey, you're talking about using city directories, I've got a very specific question about how to use those, you can let us know, and we can, make sure that we include that. Will we get a link to the recording? Yeah, we're going to, once the recording is ready, we're actually going to put it on the site under the Amplify Your Research Sessions sub-collection. So once that's ready, we'll upload it there. I also have some slides. If anybody's interested in seeing the slides, then I can upload those as well. You can throw that in the survey too if you're like, hey, it'd be great to have the slides. But yeah, that's I know that was kind of fast. We just wanted to make sure we kind of got right down to it, as I know there's a lot of information. But yeah. If anybody has, thinks of any other questions, or if you get stumped with anything, feel free to use the contact us, from, basically anywhere. You can also, you don't have to go to an item to do it either. You can just click up over here, contact us. I'm logged in as me, so it automatically fills out, whatever information you have. Send us a message. You can also send an email direct. If for some reason, this doesn't go through or something, there's our phone number. And you can also, if you're interested, we have a lot of photographs that aren't on the memory project. So if there's some photographs, that you're not able to find, you can make an appointment to come visit us in the research, the research library in our reading room. And if we've got, physical photos available, then we can pull those and you can look at those. So, and as Brandy mentioned, yeah, they'll have the tutorial page. We'll put that there once it's ready. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Please take the survey, let us know how we did. It'll help us improve and make these better for you. And yeah, feel free to contact us anytime. We're happy to help. And I hope everybody had a good time on the site, and I hope everybody has a good day and checks out the site, and happy researching for photos and anything else. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.